Champions League returns this week, but who will go the distance and lift the trophy at the end of the season? In this video, we're going to find out. Another prediction video. Today we're going to predict the outcome of this year's Champions League. Which of the 8 clubs remaining will go the distance and lift the trophy? Of course, we're going to get into it, all of it, in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, where the hell have you been, guys? Smash the old subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for the Champions League is right here, boys and girls. Of course, this week we'll have our own matchday by matchday predictions, but today we're going to see who's going to go the distance and lift the trophy at the end of the season. We're going to get into it, all of it, in a second. Of course, a big shout out once again to the patrons. You know who you are. But anyway, let's of course remind ourselves of how we got to the stage. So here we go then. Here we go. Recapping of the group stages. Of course, Bayern kicking ass and taking names, yet to taste defeat in the group stages. Of course, Copenhagen joined them. Man United crashing out early doors there. Arsenal also came through. Just one defeat for them in Group B. PSV joined them. Lens went through to the Europa League playoff. Real Madrid topping the charts. No defeats. 6 wins on the bounce. Napoli joined them. Of course, they are out. Braga, Conference League. Europa League back in. Meanwhile, Sociedad came through top in Group D over Internazionale on goal difference. Benfica going through to the Europa League there. Atlético Madrid also dominating Group E, yet to taste defeat in there. Lazio joined them, final crashing out. Dortmund, of course, dominating Group F. PSG also joined them. Milan, of course, were the unfortunate team, but all three of those clubs still in action in the respective in European competitions. Newcastle, though, are out. Man City, though, top of the charts in Group G, of course, perfect record for them. Leipzig joined them. Young boys crashing out. Barcelona also going through. Porto joined them. Shakhtar Donetsk as well. So those were the state of play for the groups. Let's, of course, have a little look at the last 16s themselves then, shall we? Here we go. Kicking it all off with this one. We had Atlético Madrid against Internazionale. We had Dortmund against PSV. Sociedad against PSG. We had Barcelona against Napoli, Arsenal against Porto, Bayern against Lazio, Manchester City against Copenhagen, and Real Madrid against Leipzig. Those were the last 16 matches, of course, double headers, of course, over the 2 legs. And then we saw Atletico Madrid coming through, of course, and they were joined by Dortmund to set up one of the quarterfinals, which we'll take a deep dive into that shortly. Meanwhile, we've got PSG coming through via Sociedad. We've also got Barcelona coming out of the game against Napoli. They joined each other in the quarterfinals. On the other end of the brackets, Arsenal and Bayern, of course, Arsenal sidestepping Porto, Bayern taking care of business against Lazio, and then Manchester City, who squeaked past Copenhagen, and then Madrid, who took care of business against Leipzig. So these are the 4 matches. Again, 2 legs, of course, which those 2 legs will take place on the 9th and 10th this week, and the 16th and 17th the following week. Of course, for 2 spots, so for the 2 semi-final matches, which will take place at the back end of April / start of May. We'll get into that in a minute. But let's, of course, break it down and have a look at these 4. Again, we're going to have predictions for each and every one of these match days with the score lines, what I think will be the score lines. But this is just my gut feeling of who's going to go through to the semis, and then, of course, the final, and then, of course, who's going to win the piston thing. So let's get cracking with the top one here. It's Atletico. It is Bayern, of course. 2 teams who probably, when you look at these 8 clubs, you're thinking, this is the weakest duo of the bracket left, really, and that would favour the likes of PSG and Barcelona to go through to a final, because basically, you're looking at these 2 to be the stronger of the teams to make it through to a final. So you got that in the back of your mind, but can there be an upset here? Well, first and foremost, we've got to get through to see who will go through. It's a tight one. It's a coin flip, to be honest with you, but I'm going to go with, we'll clear off some shit here. We're going to go with my gut. And my gut says Atletico Madrid, with their pedigree over the course of the recent years, will have too much class for Dortmund. And I just think they're just a little bit subpar at the moment. And I think Atletico Madrid will have the edge over the course of those 2 legs, of course, with that first leg being on the 10th of April, I believe, over in Spain. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, let's go, of course, the second side of that semi-final. Who will take on Atletico Madrid? Will it be PSG? Will it be Barcelona? Again, this is completely difficult for the opposite end of the thing. Madrid, Dortmund, I think very, very weak, considering the grand scheme of things of those 8 clubs that remain. These two are very similar in their own realms. I think they're of course, you probably have 3 tiers here. You got your favourites, when I'll probably put your Real Madrid, Manchester City, one of those 2 is your favourite, really, to go the distance. Then you have the other 4, PSG, Barcelona, Bayern, Arsenal in the next tier, and then you have Atletico Madrid and Dortmund. So it's difficult between these next two matches to see who will go through to the semi-finals. PSG, I think they're destined at some point to win a Champions League. Of course, this PSG is much different to the ones of the past. They still got Kylian Mbappe, of course, who is going to be the face of football, if not already. And of course, they've got an experienced coach in Luis Enrique. And I just think Barcelona, Lewandowski can score goals and all that, but he's not the Lewandowski of old. I think Mbappe will outshine Lewandowski over the course of the 2 legs, and I believe PSG will be in that semi-final to take on Atletico Madrid and already have one eye on the final. But of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Meanwhile, Bayern against Arsenal, I think this is probably the game of the round here. We've got Bayern former winners, Arsenal looking to get to win their first trophy, or the first Champions League trophy of all time. And of course, we've got a bit of a renewal of some rivalries here. Kane taking on Arsenal. Of course, Bayern not doing great in the Bundesliga in their own terms. Of course, second is not good enough for them. They want to be winning it every season. Arsenal still in the race for the Premier League. Are they fully focused on the Champions League? Are they fully focused on the Premier League? What takes priority? Of course, Bayern probably can admit defeat in the Bundesliga. That's done and dusted. So I think focus is going to switch for them tremendously on the Champions League. And Thomas Tuchel's been here before with Chelsea. Of course, not doing great respectively in the league when he had Chelsea and he went to the glory for them. So I'm backing Bayern here. I think they're going to be fully focused, 100% driven for this Champions League, where Arsenal will be 50-50 because they want to give it their best go, but they also want to keep an eye on the Premier League, and that could be their downfall, competing on 2 fronts, because they're realistically in both matches, both competitions, but one of them is going to suffer, and I think it's going to be the Champions League. So Bayern, for me, will get the nod. Arsenal will go out. Meanwhile, who will join them? Will it be Madrid? Will it be Manchester City? Of course, City, the champions. This is, of course, the ding-dong one. This is probably what everybody was hoping for a final, but we're not going to have it as a final. We're having it as a 2-legged quarterfinal, which is good. We get to see these guys in action twice, and I'm looking forward to seeing that game this week as well. So that's coming at you. In fact, I will be watching another game probably, but I'll keep an eye on it regardless. Anyway, so Madrid against Manchester City, difficult one. Of course, Madrid, multiple winners. Manchester City looking for back-to-back titles, of course, hoping to create another row or another chunk for Pep Guardiola's legacy. I just think over the course of 2 legs, I think Real Madrid will have just a little bit too much class in the end against City, just like Arsenal competing for multiple competitions, multiple fronts. And again, it's not an easy passage to the final. I think they had an easier route to the final last season. They had an easier passage early with Copenhagen, but I think Real Madrid, again, who are in control of the La Liga, could probably take a foot off the gas for the La Liga and put more resources into this one, whereas City, again, compete for both. It's not done and dusted. So I'm going to go with a Real Madrid win to set up these semi-finals, which of course are pretty ding-dong ones when you look at them. We've got Madrid, Atletico that is, against PSG, and Bayern against Real Madrid in the other one. Can we have a Madrid final, of course, taking place at Wembley? Of course, according to my eyes, there's not going to be an English team at Wembley. So it's going to be a cracking affair if you manage to get tickets on the 1st of June. That's right. So it is Atletico, it is Paris Saint-Germain. Again, Madrid are defense masterclasses, and again, they're not doing that particularly successful in the La Liga. PSG, I think they're done and dusted, maybe already champions, I don't even know. I haven't even looked at the league, but you just assume PSG are champions over in France. So, again, fully focused. Both clubs will be putting all the resources they can into this. I think Atletico Madrid may even have to put a little bit of extra effort into this one, because I think top 4 is not a guaranteed scenario for them in La Liga. They may even have to, reevaluate their own priorities for the campaign. Maybe they have to focus on La Liga to get top 4, because if they fail to get top 4 in La Liga, when you look at this, what's ahead of them. If they can just sidestep PSG over the course of 2 legs, they've got another difficult encounter with the winner on the other one. So I'm going to go PSG on that one to take them to the final with Luis Enrique and Kylian Mbappe, of course, who missed out on the grand scheme of things internationally wise with France. But anyway, I have probably another cracking side of the bracket. Bayern against Real Madrid. Of course, Bayern again not really they're out of the race for the Bundesliga. They're out of the race for the DFB Pokal. All resources put onto this. They've got a good team. They've still got a young team, hungry team. Is Thomas Tuchel the man to win another Champions League for himself, or will it be another one or another opportunity for Real Madrid to take out Bayern along the way? Whatever happens, I think we've got a cracking final with Paris Saint-Germain representing one side of the bracket. For me, I think Bayern are going to be a surprise package and could even go the distance here. I think they'll take care of business against the Real Madrid side, who, they've got La Liga in the bag. Of course, they're multiple winners of the Champions League, and I just think Bayern are hungry for a bit of success. And of course, I think a Bayern Munich win for the Champions League may have them reevaluating their own future decision on Tuchel. They've already made a press statement that he's not going to be the coach next season. He might be there thinking, you know what, if I can go the distance and win this pissing thing, then of course, two fingers to you. But anyway, we do set ourselves up for this ding-dong affair over at Wembley on, of course, the 1st of June. It's Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think they've ever won the Champions League. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, they haven't won it in a long time anyway. Bayern have won it a whole bunch of times. And of course, Harry Kane, notoriously yet to win any silverware in his career. He left Spurs to join Bayern to get some silverware. He couldn't win a thing this season domestically. No DFB Pokal, no Bundesliga. No, they even played some sort of charity event or opening the Super Cup or something. Couldn't even win that. Can he go the distance and win this one against PSG? It's a coin flip of a game. It could be. I'm expecting a banger. I'm expecting a couple of goals in this as well. So be sure to, of course, come back when this becomes the final, because I believe in this one. I think this is going to happen. But I actually believe Bayern, Harry Kane, will be victorious at the end of this and become European champions once again, and Harry Kane can end his own silverware hoodoo, pick up this ding-dong trophy, and of course maybe start a bit of a legacy of himself over in Germany. Of course, there was rumours around the season that he may end up back in the Premier League, but to be honest with you, he needs a bit of success, and I think this could be the start of his own legacy over in the Bundesliga. That's my take on it, guys. What do you think? Let me know down below. Of course, we'll look forward to the Champions League return this week and my own predictions, the weekly predictions, leg by leg as we go through to the final. Of course, make sure you come back. But until then, subscribe, thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts. Who's going to go the distance and win it for you? But until then, we're done.